Well, folks, sorry about the delay. Just a bit of a had to do an update on the old laptop. Hope it's a bit smoother and faster as well to have a chat with you tonight. So I said I'll pop on for about half an hour, 40 minutes max, just a chat with you regards to the new home strip, regards to the talk of Shin Yamada, Nanzino as well from Cercle Bruges, and we're going to talk about Giuseppe Apicino as well on the channel tonight. So if this is your first time tuning in, please click the like and subscribe button below. I was meant to have a chat with a former player tonight, but things got in the way, and I'll have him on a different time. So I'm not going to hold them grudges to that. Look, at we're busy people, busy times, you know. So hope everyone's doing well. Right, let's kick it off. How's it going, Paul? How's it going, Rab? How's it going? Football is life. How are you keeping? Good to see you on live. Look, there's a couple of podcasts on the same time, so I don't expect the numbers to be big or they're small. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. What matters is who's here, and we'll have a chat. We'll have a chat. So it looks like the Japanese striker Shim Amada that we've been looking at from Kawasaki Frontale did not feature today against South Korea in the Asian tournament that Japan were playing in the final against South Korea. He was on the bench, but he did not come on. So I don't know if it's a case where this medical is booked for him to travel to London to undergo a medical and completely he's moved to Celtic. I know there's a mixed emotions about getting this guy in. Some people feel like it's very underwhelming this window. What is going on? Are we actually getting quality in? Are we just getting quantity in? Is it going to be like 2 years ago where we got so many names in during the winter and not during the summer, and a lot of them were duds. A lot of them were duds. So what I would say is I was looking at Shin Amada's proper stats from the previous season, and he played 50 games and scored 20 goals in there. Now, I had this conversation with folks last night in the channel about Adamida's stats last night over last season. He only scored 20 goals in so many games he played for Celtic last season. I don't know exactly how many games he did play. I'll have to pull up the stats. But we're going to talk about the links up Odds and Edward as well on the channel tonight. We're going to talk about the left back we're pursuing, a guy called Fabio Nanzino. I talked about it a little bit last night, but I looked into it more depth today when I was sitting there and work. I just decided, you know what, click a YouTube video on for about 5-10 minutes. Let's have a look at this guy. But you know what, we'll get into it. So just before we talk about players, I'm just gonna put up Celtic's website for a second. Oh, the laptop's much faster now, much faster. So let me see. Need to move up and get myself a desktop. We all happy to see Henrik Larsson at 8 o'clock this morning popping up on our phones, folks, were we? We were all happy to see the King of Kings doing a promo for the new away jersey. I'm sure we were. So let's kick this off. Celtic is a hotbed for young talent. Look, I think, you know, I've said this 100 times on the channel. I don't want to kind of bore people with the same kind of conversation when it comes to young players coming through. We've Sean Maloney now in the middle from that senior team to the B team to give the transition of players moving into the senior side and getting a chance. So we're going to look at the new away kit and see what you think. See, now it's on pre-order sale. So this is it here. Mixed thoughts I've seen this morning about it. This is here on the screen, if you can see it, folks. £75 for the replica version, and then you can get the actual authentic version for 120 quid. There it is. There, we'll go through it now in proper detail. I like it. I know some people are very underwhelmed because like they wanted a proper Bumblebee jersey again. This is kind of like a remaster of the 98 away jersey to 2000. That's what it's kind of like when we had just the sponsor Umbro, and then our actual second sponsor was Umbro as well. Now they did bring out training gear with this as well, but I have to say I'm impressed with the goalkeeper jersey. It reminds me of the player jersey of 2017-18 season. So this is the goalkeeper gear here. Same price, 75 quid for a short sleeve, 80 quid for a long sleeve. Let me just look at this now. Crest, Adidas. There's a design there. I think that's actually better than the away jersey, to be honest with you. I will buy it. I will buy in time to come. But what I end up doing today, instead of buying the actual jersey, I went in and bought some of the training gear. Some of the training gear. Broke the bank today. Bought this top, this one here, for 45 quid. This bad boy. It's a nice top. We've obviously seen the boys been wearing this training gear over the last 10 days. And so bought this for 45 today. Pre-order. I got the shorts as well. This is not the shorts off the actual kit. These are the training shorts. So just give you a better vision of that there. And then I went out and bought this as well. Broke the bank, folks. Could I have bought the new away jersey? I could have, but I bought more stuff that I'm gonna wear properly. So yeah, let me know in the comments who has bought whatever. Just let me see the comments. Did that not pop up that screen? Right, let's see what's going on. Why not huge risk? 1.5 million for this guy, Shin Yamada, sorry. Shin Yamada. Could be another Kyogo. Could be similar traits to Kyogo, but he's good in year. But Odds and Edward, I said it last night in the channel. Edwards only played 8 games last season for Leicester when he was on loan. Didn't score in the 8 games. That's very worrying in my eyes. But a guy that scored 87 goals in the Celtic shorts in his tender from being on loan at PSG when we signed him for around 9 million from PSG. Him and Dembele were up at the front. And then obviously Dembele left in that summer after the AEK and defeat in the Champions League qualification rounds. And then Edward thought Edward was pretty good in the Celtic shirt. But we have this argument going across the platforms. He dropped his tools, don't want them back. He's just probably using us so he can get himself back into the rhythm of things. That happens in football. Look at Chris Sutton. Chris Sutton was brutal at Chelsea. Came to Celtic and he was absolutely unbelievable. The thing about Edward is Brendan can get the best out of him. I'm sure he could get the best out of him. And I know people keep saying, why did we keep going backwards? We got Jota back. We got Tierney back. It just happens. Sometimes it's a better business too. Not buying any new merchandise until the board get their finger out. It's the same. I look at Nori boy. I'm not taking the dig at you in any way, but I hear this all the time. I hear this all the time across social media platforms. Not buying this, not buying that. The board don't give a shit what you think. At the end of the day, the board don't give a shit what anyone thinks. Why even what I think on these podcasts? Because at the end of the day, they have a business model that they fully are investing in, and if they feel like they can go out and only spend about 30 million in the transfer window for the whole term of that transfer window, and they can cash in and make around 40 million in that summer, they'll take that. And the windfall money as well from players. If Matt already goes to Roma, we have obviously see around 5.8 million coming in for Jeffrey Frimpong as well, his move to Liverpool. But there's no point of saying, I don't want to give the club money anymore. You don't want to give the club any money anymore. That's fine. That's your decision. At the end of the day, you control your money. At the end of the day, if you need it for something else, go ahead. go ahead, spend on something else. I've spent so far this summer on merchandise £260. £260. Now, do I have a season book? No. Do I go to much games? I loved it. No. But that's my way of investing into the team. That's my way of putting money into the club. And not every fan can buy merchandise. Simple as. Football is becoming a business, a really big business where you're just a number making numbers. Simple as, you know. Yeah, they do care about the bonuses, and that's the way they work as, you know, they work on to try getting the Champions League and work on getting new players in from leagues that we're not familiar with at times and try and make them a key asset. And that's the way it is. There's no point moaning about the board all the time. Like I think as a business we ran quite well. Like we're successful over the last 12 years. You know, we've won 5 trebles over the last 10 years, and people are still moaning. People are still moaning that we had Champions League night last season. People are still moaning that we got into the Champions League playoff and we gave Bayern Munich a run for their money. We were 60 minutes away, or 60 seconds away from at a time in the Allianz Arena. People are moaning that we buy players for 3 million and sell them for 25 million. Or buy Matt O'Reilly for feck all money and sell them for over 25 million. People are moaning that we sell Jota. We make a massive stake on Jota as well. You just can't keep fans happy. And I'm not being a happy clapper in any way at all. I'm just being honest. We're successful on and off the pitch. What do you want? Are you just say to yourself right now when you're watching this, do you believe we're going to win the league this season? I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Do you believe that we can have a crack in Europe, regardless if it's Champions League or the Europa League? I believe we can do it. I believe that we can. I think people are being over dramatic. We're in the middle of July, folks. This is not the last weekend in August. This is the middle of July. We haven't kicked a ball in competitive football yet. And he's saying this is underwhelming, this is a joke, this is fucking that. Calm yourselves down. He's been around long enough to support Celtic. You know what this is the type of stuff that happens with Celtic. I think it's been a bit different this summer because we actually have players coming in. Neugren's in the door, Osman's in the door, and there's guys in this chat writing these players off already. Well, have you been sitting there and watching these players for years before they came to Celtic? No, you fucking haven't. So stop writing players off before they even kick a competitive ball for Celtic, because that just shows you don't need glory hunters. You need people to actually get behind these players. These players want to be part of something, like they were in the Estadio Nacional yesterday. They took in the scenes of that stadium, the rich history of Celtic going there in 1967 on the 25th of May, walking through that tunnel, going up them stairs onto that pitch to beat the Italians Inter Milan 2-1. You know, these boys know how rich, how valuable the history is to Celtic fans and worldwide, the football world. You know, you just need to stop writing players off. You haven't fucking even played properly yet for Celtic, and you're like, that. You know, Osmond isn't good enough. How do you know Osmond isn't good enough? How do you know Osmond isn't good enough? Are you a scout? Are you a scout? Are you? Because I have good friends who are Fulham fans, and they've told me out straight. These are Fulham season ticket holders. They've told me out straight that they were raging that Osmond is gone to Celtic because Osmond was going to get the breakthrough for Fulham. And the reason why he left Fulham is because he wanted a bigger step. He wanted a higher intensity of, the Premier League is big demand, but he wanted to try get a better chance. He's not going to get ahead of Raul Jimenez, let's be honest. You know, he's a better chance of getting ahead of Adam Ida than Raul Jimenez. So I think people need to start backing players that come in and stop writing these guys off. Until they start becoming flops and they start making mistakes, until they don't cut it in the fourth season, that's when you say, right, that isn't enough. That wasn't enough in the Celtic shorts, you know? So think positive, because I'm thinking positive. As I said, we have a game tomorrow against Sporting Lisbon. I'm going to be on live at 6 o'clock tomorrow for a watch along. I thought it was 7:30 It's 6:30 kickoff. So I will be doing a watch along tomorrow. And mother of Jesus Christ, if I see people moaning, I'm just going to mute you, because I'm going to sit here with my phone, do YouTube, and if I see all this moany shit out, people saying, oh, this is that, this is this, this is that, say something fucking positive. We're the champions of Scotland. We're the champions of Scotland. And it's not like we got relegated last season. It's not like we got thumped in the Champions League and finished in the bottom of the table. Shit happens as football. You win some, you lose some, you draw some. You put this crest on and you enjoy fucking supporting it. Ups and downs. And I'm sure there's people in this audience that are watching tonight that have been through the 90s, have seen the dark days, and they stood by that team in the jungle. They stood by that team when they wanted to push that aboard out, and Fergus McCann came in and saved us. I'm sure there is people in here that's watching, because people I meet in my job that are like 60, 70, 50 that watch the podcast, they tell me about the good times and the bad times. And I think we have a portion of fans that are now, we've gone so far with the pecking order of winning so on a regular basis, they expect higher and higher and higher. I understand Brendan Rodgers is in here and the contract hasn't been signed just yet, but have patience. Have patience. I think the club's in good hands. Were we in good hands in 2020 when we fecked up the league? No, we were in good hands. But there has been a shake of people in the club, and they've learned from the mistakes. They've learned from the cock-ups of the whole 10-in-a-row season. And what did we do? We brought Ange Postecoglou in, which he was unknown for a lot of Celtic fans. He came in, steered the ship, cleared the clutter out, like Odsonne Edouard, that we're going to be talking about. Someone that didn't want to play, like Ryan Christie, like Christopher Lawyer, like players that didn't want to play for Celtic. People that dropped their tools for Celtic in October that season under Neil Lennon. Look, a lot of fans turned on Neil Lennon awfully. Just remember that. There's some fans out there that really attack Neil Lennon in a way that you don't fucking realise what Neil Lennon done for Celtic. I think a lot of you are like thinking cuckoo land at times. You not realise Neil Lennon was a captain of Celtic. Not realise he was a coach of Celtic. Came in when Tommy Burns was in his last days, and Neil Lennon came in, a part of Strachan's staff, and guided that team to success at Tannadice. Do you not remember that? You have to refresh people's heads tonight on this podcast and show us this, because I think a lot of people are very fucking glorified that much. Very glorified. So I'm on it tonight, and if I see all moany shites, go and watch another podcast. Go and have a ramble on their channel, because you know what? Is people are tied to their opinion, but when I get the regular same people that are moaning all the time. But what I'm going to say about Neil Lennon is some fans were really, really bad. I stuck by Lennon until I stuck by Lennon until that Ross County game. And before that, I was like, I don't think this is working out. I think there needs to be a change. But I wasn't verbally attacking him on my podcast, saying he needs to go. People were literally keyboard warriors. Yeah, we were locked up. We were going through a difficult time. We weren't seeing much sunlight. We weren't seeing our friends. We weren't seeing our family. And football was the thing we were torn to. And it was hard looking at stands empty and looking at banners and stuff like that. But, you need to understand, we've gone a long way since then. So if we're bringing likes of Colin Mosman in and Benjamin Nygren, and I know you are seeing players being sold for big chunks of money, and we're not directly replacing that player straight away. It's all about having patience. If Balikwisha takes another 2 weeks to come in, if we don't get Balikwisha, there's no point crying about it on my podcast for 2 hours about it. We move on. It's a big market. There's people out there that will want MILF. There's for European football that could be better than Balikwisha. That may cost more money than Balikwisha or less. So what I will say is that anyone that's watching this tonight and writing players off because their valuation that we're buying people cheap, stop. They're doing more than you're ever fucking doing. Simple as. You're just a fan. Remember, you love this club. But these guys are in to do a job. And if they don't do the fucking job within the first season or the second season, it happens. Shit happens. People go into jobs and they just flop. I've went into many jobs and I've flopped. I've went into jobs where I've succeeded. It's just a part of life. So no one's perfect. No one's perfect at the end of the day. No one is perfect. So I'm liking all the likes. I'm liking to subscribe. I am very controversial because I speak my heart. I speak my soul. I don't want people coming on saying, fucking Callum Osmond isn't good enough. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know football life? How do you know? Because clearly you don't fucking know. You can go by stats. You can go by videos. But until you see him in a Celtic shorts, he may be a Gary Hooper. He may take time to settle in, or he may hit a really, you know. That's it. You can't write players off. You can't. That's like, you know what? It's like it's going to be a Grand National and someone's at 30, 35 won the shot. And they're saying they're never going to win it. They're never going to be this. They're never going to that. Don't write the book. Don't write it off. You know? These guys have been scouted. And do I feel like Brendan Rodgers has the full authority over transfers at times? No, I don't. I'll be personally honest with you. I don't. I think he has more authority than he had previously in his first term. I think there's been more money spent than it was in the first term because the football landscape has changed since then. But, yeah, it's nothing against those players. It's the club. But they're in a fabulous club. It is against them players because you go back to your comments and you're saying that, you know, I go back to the top comments saying, let me see. There you go. I want the same Osman and Namor. They are not Celtic quality. They are not Celtic quality. How are they not Celtic quality? You haven't even put Celtic fucking shirt on in a competitive game if they're not Celtic quality. You need to take a bit of time and let these guys settle. It's a different climate of football. It's a new teammates. It's a new surrounding. They're on pre-season in Portugal. They're getting used to gelling with these guys. They spend more time with these guys than they will with their own families. So you need to have a bit of patience. Simple as it is. You know? So let's kick it off and make it clear as it is. My opinion on Anson Edwards, did he drop tools like majority of the players did in that season? Yes. Can I forgive? Yes. He's 27 years of age. He knows the intensity and the demand to play for Celtic. He knows to score in derbies. He knows how to score in Europe. He knows how to bang goals in. And I remember at points in one season where people were comparing Odsonne Edouard to Henry Clarkson at times. I was like, this is the most exciting striker that we've had since Larson. I was like, whoa, that's very premature. No. We've had Hooper, we've had Dembele, but Edward, it's that love you have when a player scores goals in big games. But no, you know, we're not in the 1960s. Football players, it's harder for football players these days. Back in the 1960s, players see the players back in the 1960s, like the Lisbon Lions, they went out in Celtic Park, they ran around the streets of Glasgow. That's what they done. That's what they done. That's the way they trained in Barrowfield and whatever they did back then. These days, more behind it. They get scrutiny online. There's contract deals, there's agents. It's so much harder than it was back then. It's all sports science, it's all statistics, it's all so much. And don't get me wrong, you know, I'm not disrespecting the Lisbon Lions in any way because they were absolute geniuses. That team were unbelievable. You're not going to get anything like it ever again. Phenomenal story. But I think fans need to relax. Underwhelming. Shirt goes up today and people are moaning about players on the post of the shirt. It's merchandise. Yet there's been loads of merchandise plastered down over the last 3 weeks. Calm down. It's a business. You want to bring revenue in, you're going to use every tool you can to get revenue. No one's putting a gun to your head and saying, Katrina, you buy that shirt. Rab, you buy that tracksuit. Football life, you don't put money in because you don't want to put money in. That's fine. But someone else will put money in. You know, it's a business. Fans are born. Football fans are born every day. You know, introducing the Celtic family every day. People come and go. And to anyone that's lost a loved one, if it's a big Celtic fan recently, we thoughts are with you. Or in the last few years, we thoughts are with you. It's a business. We just need to get this into our heads. It's a business. Love the game, but it's a business. That's the way they're going to run it. So if Lawwell, Desmond, Nicholson want to run in that way, and it's been successful, and on off the pitch, and share prices are going up, and yes, season ticket prices are going up, and fans are not happy. Yes, something has to give, but if you're successful, it pays off. If we're not winning titles and season tickets are going up and merchandise is going up and we're playing poor and we're finishing fourth in the league, all means we have the right to moan. All means there's banners outside. All means that you criticize, you scream at your players and tell them to get their shit together. But it's not that. You know that? It's not that. So Edward, I would take back. I would take Edward before I take Yamada, because I know Edward can do it. Yamada is a big risk. The way I feel is I could be Maeda's number one striker, but we need to strengthen on the flanks. We've made it clear that we need to get a defensive midfielder. We're looking at that guy Salvatore from Spencer in Serie B, a 24-year-old Italian defensive midfielder that played 36 games last year. He has been capped for Italy as well. There's been talks of him. We'll see what happens with that guy. He's 5'10" as well, if anyone wants to know. There's been talk of Giuseppe Abrasino. It doesn't look like we're going to get him. He is set for a medical and talks with a team that was promoted to Serie A. I think it's Cantonese. I think that's the club. If you just want to fix me on that. But no, you're entitled to your opinion, but sometimes you just need to just think about it. Just think about after the game. Just think about after the podcast. Do I really need to write Callum Osman off? Because he's not. Sorry, he's not a 10 million striker. Sorry, he hasn't had that prolific 30 goals a season stat you want. Doesn't always want. We need more Maedas. Hopefully we'll get more Maedas. I hope you're doing well, CB the Torts. Good to see the numbers in tonight. As I said, I'm not here to lose subscribers over speaking my heart. I'm here to gain subscribers. And if they come, they come. If they don't, they don't. I have a phenomenal, good set of people, you know. Noel, how are you getting on? Hope you're well. Celtic always take a risk on unknown players like O'Reilly, Frimpong, Maeda, the list goes on. So, Sporting Lisbon tomorrow, my starting lineup will be Sinsalo in goal, Ralston. And you know what? I'm going to say this right now. I know you want to see Tierney play, but Tierney can come on the second half. That's the whole point of pre-season. Inamura left back. Trusty Scales. Now, look, CCV is back training with the squad, which is good news. Callum McGregor, Luke McCown, Annie Ingles, Maeda in the middle. Nygren on the right, Yang on the left. And they can rotate around to bring Tierney on and Hida on and Osmond on in the second half. It's all about rotation. So if we get pumped tomorrow by Sporting Lisbon, are we going to lose sleep about it? No. If we hammer Sporting Lisbon tomorrow, are we going to be happy? Yeah. We're not going to be going around getting a bottle of Moet in the local shop and celebrating because it's a pre-season game. It's just pre-season. It's about gelling. It's all about gelling. Okay? I'm putting out there, don't be stressed about a game. It's only a pre-season. It's not the St. Mirren. It's not a Champions League playoff round. Just up my ears. Look it. You just keep doing what you're doing, bud. Simple as. Good days and bad days. We all have them, don't we? So Derek is saying, get the same shit every year from the past few fans moaning about a ball before it's kicked. It's always the same, Derek, to be honest with you. And I'll be honest with you. These people they're good, commit people watching these podcasts, and they all like to have their own opinion in certain ways. And it's not me being cheeky when I turn around and say, stop and think about this. I'm being fucking honest. It's like your mate walking to the pub. You're sitting in the pub and your mate starts going, oh, we're at the signing this guy from Fulham. Don't have a fucking clue about him. He's going to be shy. He's going to be shy. He's gonna be shy, is he? Well, he's doing fucking more than you are, Jimmy. At least he's fucking playing for the iconic Glasgow Celtic. So don't start this show, Jimmy. So I remember I used to get behind these players. And that's the problem. People are spoiled these days. Spoiled and glorified. But that's how I person some fans. And some fans just stick by it. Give them a chance, like you said. A lot of keyboard warriors out there. Look at. Let them be keyboard warriors. Let them be. Or just let them do their own podcast and moan, because I guarantee you a lot of people won't be interested watching them moan about the same crap moaning, writing these players off already. Did I write Inamura off? Because I said a couple of weeks ago, I was like, he could be a Kobashi or he could be a Rio Atate. And he looked pretty decent against Cork. He looked all right against Estrella as well. Yeah, Callum. Yeah, we missed Callum in the second half the other day against Estrella. But it's going to be a good game tomorrow. So who's going to be watching the watch along with me tomorrow? I know there's a couple of other channels having their watch alongs, and you guys are rats. I only care about my own channel. That's what I should care about. You know? I know I put up on the comments on the post saying you want me to speak to people on other channels collaboration. I will reach out to he's want me to speak to Mark on the Boise bus or something. When he's asked, said he's want me to speak to Baz. I like to speak to Baz. Let me see who else he's want me to speak to. Let me see. As I said, I love to do a collaboration with these, but it's getting the time and the place and to speak to these folk. These are busy folk, you know. Have their own channels to be worrying about. Right, someone says 20-minute teams. I don't know if the lads will actually, to be honest, they have a good structure. I don't know. Ryan 118, I don't think Ryan will come on. Ryan is a busy man. So if you want to ask Ryan, ask Ryan. David 67, David will come on. I know for a fact David will come on. Boise Bus, I've had Boise on before. Big Andy and Kaiser from the Forley Clover. I'd love to have a chat with Andy. Andy's a good guy. Kaiser, I know quite well. He's a good guy. Restricted View, don't know much about Restricted View. And One Celtic Fans View. My favourite podcaster. By a mile. Baz is the best. I'm sorry, but Baz actually is. Baz has the whole thing that gets up, works hard, puts it all together, and every podcast is good. My podcast is good because I speak my fucking heart. That's why. Baz is the man. Simple. We'll get Baz on. I may actually message Baz. He's been busy. He's constantly doing podcasts all the time. You know, he's a life. A team can go for it in Lisbon. 100%. Well, it's in the Algarve, actually. It's in the Algarve. Have my own. I have to send me a mail on the Commander Hoops page. You know, I am looking to get people on. I'm looking to add people to my new podcast. I'm looking to actually get a podcast team together, to be honest with you. So I'm putting the offer out to people. Message me if you're interested in a podcast. Let me have a chat with you first. You know, I love to get more people on different opinions. You know, I like to get a regular podcast team because I know I do go right on my own, but sometimes you just like to listen to hear other people speak. We might disagree in this topic. I might agree in this topic, but everybody's bit of knowledge is good to help the cause, you know? I don't know. I'd like maybe I should get you on one day. Maybe we should get on, but we should maybe think about Trinity teams. People, you need to say, see, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because I'm a busy man. I work Monday to Friday, like most people. And then some weekends I'm in Dublin visiting family or so. And then some days the free time I get with me other half, if it's 2 or 3 times a week, I like to spend time with her as well. And she says to me, "Keep go on and do your podcast for an hour. Don't worry about it," you know. And tonight, unfortunately, the person I was meant to have a chat with got caught up in things, and I'm hoping that he'll get on another time. I hope he'll get on another time and have a chat with you. Look, good things come to those who wait. Natalie, cheers. Thanks very much. Let's go and spend another 11 million on Ingles. Ingles is not a dud. We could go and spend 111. We could go out and spend 11 million on Ingles, on a player like Ingles, or a striker. There's 11 million. It's up to the board. It's not a point the fans saying let's go and spend it. 9 to 11. Well, unfortunately it doesn't work like that. You don't do that business model all the time. So yeah. So is anyone going to pre-order this jersey? Is anyone going to buy this jersey for 75 quid? Let's see. Right, let's have a little look. So where is this? For a second, I know the noise is a bit nightmarish. So just remove this. So Sky Sports put this up 3 years ago. That Celtic are definitely looking for another left back to cover Tierney, right? Anthony Joseph put this up. Anthony Joseph done a good podcast yesterday with the lads over another YouTube channel. I forget their names. Sorry for forgetting his names, lads. And then he put up this saying, Celtic are exploring the conditions of a deal for Cercle Bruges left back Nzinho. It's understood the club are yet to make an official offer, but they're keen to bring the Portugal under-21 international to Glasgow. So, a little breakdown on this Portuguese left back. He signed for Cercle Bruges last season. He is 5'10". He's 21 years of age. He has played 39 games for them. He's scored 2 goals. I think he's provided 6 or 7 assists, to be honest. And he had a good campaign for the under-21s in the Euros as well for Portugal. He's played beside Bernardo as well. So let's see how this goes. In recent times, we had more success with the signs who have cost less. Look at Henrik Larsson. He cost feck all dough. Didier Gaff, feck all dough. And that's 20 odd years ago, 25, 26 years ago. But people need to stop writing players off when you come in the door. Like, it's too much. Too right on buying it, mate. I'll be buying it as well when I have the money, but I'm at the buying the training gear. So, but let's share the screen and show you a bit of this guy. So yeah, if you aren't interested in coming on and being a guest on my channel, give me a mail across the socials. I'm gonna start interacting more with the subscribers, and so this isn't, by the way, just to put this to you, right? This isn't translated in Portuguese, I think. So I'm just going to give you the main statistics. He's in a contract of 2028. His market value is 3 million euros, right? So see, can we get? He has played 39 games. This is his total stats as a professional. Let's see now. There's talks of obviously Roma being interested. He has come through the Sporting Lisbon Academy as well, so they'll want a sell-on clause if he comes to Celtic. There's talks about potentially around 3 to 4 million to get this guy in from the Belgian Jupiter League. So let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can get him in. If he, like, as I said, I really want a defensive midfielder, big time, because Callum can't pull the strings all the time. Can't pull the strings all the time. There you are, David. When we getting you on, David? Yeah, did you have a look at that app? It's a good little app, isn't it? We need another team. I was looking at that last night. You get this picture off. So Fat Mob is a good little app. So I'm getting confused with Davey 67. Let's get a bid in. Let's throw the cash. Let's try to cash. Would you rather we spent money like we did on Anita and Ingles? Desperate, everybody moaning at them because they helped us. No, look at it. It doesn't matter what we spent. Just remember, we don't spend. It's not us. It's the club. Just remember. I understand what you're trying to say. What the club could spend. The club will spend until what they want to spend. If they only spend 10 million this window and you're moaning at the end of the 1st of September and you feel like we're going to lose the league, you're entitled to that. But there's no point moaning about it. Let's fucking go for it. And going for it is we have a good squad of players there that have won trophies upon trophies. Good winning mentality. We back Kieran Tierney back. You know? Proper money. They can't always spend proper money because I keep telling you the logistics of getting players in. International clearance, sell-on clauses, work permits, family, wages. It's not like FIFA. I keep telling you this. You can't just click your fingers and say, I want that guy. They will get players in. We're only halfway through our pre-season and people are fucking panicking. People are moaning. You know? So we'll be fine. We Fergus left our board with only over their stadium to finish. Okay, Fergus is a good man. If we qualify to Champions League, we'll have 100 million in the bank. Spend the money when it's there. Exactly like we did last year. We got into the chat. Well, we were in the Champions League directly, but once that Matt O'Reilly money came in, we had no other choice but to spend on Ingles. You know, so we're going to be fine. We're going to be absolutely fine. Did we win 2 trophies last season? Yeah, we did. Right. Folks, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to be back for a watch along tomorrow. I'm going to say about 10 past 6, right? 6:15, I'll jump on. Hope you jump on tomorrow. Have a chat with me. Hope you enjoyed the podcast tonight. Unfortunately, the podcast didn't go the way it was meant to go because things got caught up with the person that was meant to pop on. And look, there's always another time. Look, I'm not going to worry about it too much at the end of the day. But appreciate everyone tuning on. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. And look, do what you got to do, bud. Okay. Appreciate you tuning in anyway. But hail. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and I'll speak to you all soon. Hail.